From the many realms of Aetheris to the distant reaches of the 13th via the magic of podcasting, this is episode 42 of A Podcast Reborn, a show celebrating our journey in the past, present, and possible future of Final Fantasy XIV. This episode is being recorded on Sunday, September 10th of 2023. The following podcast may contain mature language and more than likely spoilers for portions of the MSQ and other quest lines. My name is Brian Black, otherwise known as Ro, and you heard that spoiler warning. It's time for the burning question. Will Zero die before Dawn Trail launches? Giving their answer first is VTuber Makote Catmom of 2, Meagan, go!
Absolutely not. She's way too marketable.
I mean, it's a good answer. Let's find out what Resident Old Man has to say about Zero. Well, after the mandatory dad joke, that is. Hi, Brandon.
I am in agreement. I don't think Zero's going anywhere. In fact, I think she's going to have a semi-prominent role in Dawn Trail, and none of us are going to see it coming. But did you guys hear about Zero's girlfriend, Y'shtola, becoming a Twitch streamer? Yeah. And can you believe it? She's actually number one in the Just Chatting category. I mean, I'm not surprised. She's always live streaming.
Oh, wow. That's good. That's good.
It's like she doesn't have a camera. You just hear her voice because she's just, an ethereal presence.
ASMR queen.
ASMR roleplay. Your girlfriend tells you to clean the house.
Oh boy! All right. The intro's weird. Go figure. I'm doing weird things with the intro because why not? Because sometimes you gotta change things up. Welcome to episode 42, otherwise known as the answer to life, the universe, and everything. If you understand that reference, you're just as old as I am, if not older. Okay, so it's been a few weeks. We took an extra week for a couple of very important reasons. One, I have been in retail hell lately. 2, I wasn't feeling well last week. And 3, I wanted to make sure that Meagan had enough time to finish the damn Hildebrand questline.
I did it.
So before I even hit record, I asked the question, and I was very pleased with the answer. Meagan, what did you think of the Hildebrand questline?
I mean, it explains a lot. Not that I thought they ever would explain it, but yeah. But also they put some doubt on it because Godbert was like, "Well, according to our family tree, I don't know if that's even." And we're like, "Oh, what? Were you adopted or something? Did the Mandervillian line end at some point?"
It's gone extant.
I never would have in my wildest dreams thought that we would have received a connection to why Kovlins had been in every Manderville after credits thing. Aliens never even came to mind. And I have questions about Godbrand's wife.
Yeah. Who brought that up? Who was like, "But then why is Julian so strong?" And then I was like, "There's an Alabama explanation for that." But
well,
but then why is fucking Hildebrand not very strong? Like, we've seen that he can take a beating for sure, but he's not strong. He cannot fight.
There's different kinds of strength. I mean, how many like professional boxers do you know of whose fighting strategy is just outlast the other guy and then take him down when he's tired?
Well, none, because I don't know anything about boxing.
That's I might also be making that up, conflating it with a Simpsons reference, but I don't know.
But yeah, man, like that whole I'm just like, the other thing is like, how seriously do you take anything from the storylines? Like, how much of this is just meme, or is this really supposed to be lore? I feel like the whole Manderville thing is like in its own little contained pocket universe, and like Ward pointed out because we were doing the MSQ again with our friends. We just got to the point where the Oldon city council or whatever, it's got like the syndicate and the Sultana and whatever all are voting on if the Doman refugees can stay. And Godward's supposed to be on this council, but he's conspicuously absent. There's just like some dude in like a hood sitting there, and I'm like, there's no way that's Godward, because like he sir does not wear pants, never mind a hood.
Godbert's too busy in this gold saucer.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah,
like they're keeping him out of the important shit, or out of the serious stuff. That's why I'm like, it's a pocket dimension that we occasionally wander into. I don't think it really has any bearing on the rest of the world.
I mean, it's also entirely possible that he's a hallucination. The entire Hildebrand, extended family is a hallucination caused by many blows to the head.
Then what are our relic weapons?
Also a hallucination. Or Dynamis. Dynamis explains everything nowadays.
Yeah, it does. That's the thing. Like, they were saying about how when they took the Aetheryte fast travel thing, that like Hildebrand and Nashu did not get nauseous like everyone else. Like, that's because they don't have much ether.
Oh,
because they're what are they, Enteleckies?
I can see Nashu just being a pure emotion. She's yeah. All emotion, no brain.
Indeed.
The second she asks me if we can please be friends, I am pulling out my gun and ending this. Not again. I've been through this once. No more.
No, she's what happens if she makes a friend. If Meagan had gone to a planet and met to Hildebrand and come back with the answer.
Well, no. Gentlemanly. Well, wait, but I mean, hold up, because I mean, the lore, this very important Manderville lore. I mean, the ancestors of Godbrand and stuff like that, his people faced the final days, right? So Meagan, or one of Meagan's sisters, did take him out.
Well, then, there you go. I guess nobody could survive a small bird with depression. Although usually, okay, that's the question, because after Meagan went around finding planets, and she found all these planets that were like on the brink of collapse, and they all like fucking killed themselves in front of her. So she got really depressed, and then she just started ending civilizations on her own.
I find it wild that Final Fantasy XIV was able to predict the evil villain arc of Twitter.
I was just thinking that, because
Twitter was never good.
All black, just like the Endsinger.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And Meagan is X. Meagan is X. Her blue self was Twitter, and then she became the Endsinger's X. There you go.
Okay, but like Twitter was never cute or good or innocent, and it also never had any empathy.
That's fair.
I think that depends on how much of the early days you were there for on Twitter.
Man, I've been there.
Also,
for a long
does that make the freed Meagan blue sky?
I mean, she does take off into the sky.
Exactly. We all saw the end credits of Endwalker.
Yeah. Good point.
Oh God, I'm so tired.
Final Fantasy XIV, a subtle commentary on social media in this day and age. Does that mean that Fandaniel is Elon Musk?
Oh God.
I don't know.
That's giving Elon Musk too much credit. I don't think that Elon Musk is as sympathetic as even Fandaniel. I think he's worse. If I was in a room with a gun with 2 bullets with Fandaniel and Elon Musk, I would shoot Elon Musk twice.
Oh God, we better move on before his fanboys find the show.
Indeed. All right. All right. Brandon, aliens, anime bullshit. How did you like the Hildebrand questline?
It was probably the one I've enjoyed the most out of all the Hildebrand questlines in a good long while. So I guess that's as about a good a result as you can expect with Hildebrand. I think the new weapon models all look really cool.
Yes, especially considering the red mage weapon is not blue. Thank you.
Yes, good, very good. I'm actually working on getting that one on my my cat girl alt, since she is my quote unquote canon red mage, and I'm finally like, oh look, a relic weapon that is pretty and actually red. Yes, give it to me.
Yeah, right now, man, being a scholar or a summoner, can be really difficult when it comes to relics and stuff, because there haven't been too many decent relics for scholar and summoner. Now there's some good books, but they're all from
and they're from horrible guardians.
Yep.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's also some of the things that are have rare drop mats, like the book I use for my glamour more often than not is the Suzaku Fiery one. And that looks more flashy than any of the recent relics for Summoner.
Yeah, the one that looks really good for Scholar, at least, is like the fairy book with the big wings coming out of it, but that's like Boja.
Yeah.
And even though I was playing at that time, I was Bard at the time, so I have a very nice shiny bow, but I don't really Bard anymore. But yeah, on my new character, I've pretty much started maining Red Mage because it's fun and it's shiny. Although I keep going, I'm like Summoner Scholar / Red Mage because it's one of those servers where we get the XP boost, so you pretty much need to be leveling 2 classes or else you're gonna over level everything. But what's funny is right now we're in the post Rumble Board patch content, and the MSQ does not seem to be giving us like any XP at all. And I'm like, I guess that makes sense.
I don't think any of the post, actual expansion release content gives much in the way of XP at all, just because they over leveling into the next expansion. But getting back to Summoner and Scholar relics, I have a really, really hard time using anything that has a glow on either of those jobs, because 9 times out of 10 they obscure the text of the book, and I'm like, well, this is kind of useless now because I can't read it.
I mean, there's form and there's function. I get it.
Yeah,
you're more a fan of function. I'm more a fan of form. I want my fancy book to be glowy. What can I say?
I'm also a fan of the Lost Allegan or Garland Ironworks stuff, because it's me. I like Magitech.
And then the writing glows. So you're like, this is extremely helpful. I can read this in the dark.
Exactly.
Power outage, no problem.
I have to wonder if, in universe, does the Arcanist Guild hate it if you walk around with a technology-based book, like an e-reader or whatever? They're like, no, real paper is the only way you can properly channel Arcanima.
Oh my god!
How dare you?
I bet there are some faction nonsense where oh, you're one of those. You're not a real Arcanist unless you're using actual paper.
I'm the warrior of goddamn light. I think I get to determine who's a real Arcanist.
Or and then eventually, once e-readers will catch on, carrying around actual books is being one of those hipsters that carries around a portable record player.
See, this is why we need more class and job storylines. We gotta explore crap like this.
Imagine a summoner tombstone.
Oh, I mean, that's kind of what the Garland Ironworks summoner book is.
Yeah,
if you look at it, it's basically a freaking tombstone that's book shaped vaguely.
Yeah. I want to backtrack a little bit, because Meagan, you said that you were on post MSQ stuff, post Realm Reborn MSQ stuff. I've been hoping that you would get to a point where I could ask you for your experience on one particular part that they redid during Endwalker.
Okay.
So they changed they changed Praetorium and Castrum and the Ultima weapon fight. We all know this. We've done MSQ God knows how many times lately, especially to get, tons and tons of tombstones. But the thing I'm more interested in is the Laha Brea solo duty after you beat I have not played this nor even gone to YouTube to see it. What is it like?
It's okay. As an experienced player, it is totally fine. It is totally completely normal within the realm of everything. Both our friends had a really difficult time with it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, right when they beat him, their internet cut out.
Oh no!
So they had to beat him again. One of them turned it on to easy mode, and the other one was like, "No, I'm going to beat this. I'm going to do it." But I literally, it's like, number one, we're all solo, so I can't give them any direct pointers. I can't see exactly what's going on, what's going wrong. And number two,
unless they stream their stuff through Discord or something, yeah.
Yeah. And number two, it's
even
like
then there's lag.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that like is just imprinted in your brain after you've been like a player for a long time.
Yeah.
The thing that it would do is it's got a part where like when big explosions go off, but they're like in order, so you have to run to like the last one and wait for the first one to go off and run into that. They were having a really hard time figuring that out. And like half the arena would be covered in something, and then the other half of the arena would be covered, and so it'd be like trying to explain to them like, no, you gotta kind of be near the edge of like the save zone and then immediately get into it. And like also coming, especially they've both played WoW for a long time, and coming from WoW, the like 1 second delay on like AoEs and stuff, or it's not even a full second, it's like a half second or something.
The snapshot, yeah.
The snapshot. The server tick, it's very hard to get used to. So they really struggled with it. Me and Ward had no trouble, but we live and breathe Final Fantasy 14 at this point. But yeah, it was really, because it's like from there you immediately go into like the super long like End of Realm Reborn cutscene.
Mm-hmm.
So like they got kicked out of the game as they started that cutscene. But luckily when they came back in, it started the cutscene over again. But then they placed the credits, and Ward wanted to just sit through all the credits. But luckily you can speed the credits up if you want. So I after a few minutes I told them that, and they were like, "Oh, thank God."
They at that point they had truly beaten the first final boss of Final Fantasy 14.
So, and also it was like all our gear was pretty bad at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Because right after that, we went to go do the Crystal Tower series, and you had to have like a certain eye level to get into the Crystal Tower, and none of us had it. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, that explains why they had such
time to spend some poetics."
Yeah. Especially, I think we were still wearing our like level 1 ring.
Oh no.
Because we didn't do any extra content. Like, we did no side quests. We only did story dungeons because there was no point in anything else. We were over leveled. And that was the other thing. Like, we never felt the pain of our shitty gear because we were always over leveled for everything. And so this was like the first time that like, yeah, it level sinks you, and you're on your own. You can't like get help from anyone. So it was like a real splash of cold water in the face.
Yeah, that ARR gearing it's something else.
But yeah, so then we all got our like level 50 gear, our silly outfits, and then the husband ran off and immediately got samurai. And he has been samurai ever since. And the wife is still bard. She wants to get dancer.
So you got samurai, bard, red mage, and what's Ward doing?
Ward is doing paladin, and ninja mostly. Because we figured since we're the experienced one, that we would tank and heal. So I do scholar healing. Although I did start leveling a conjurer, so we could do the first few dungeons with a healer, with me healing. And then as soon as, because I was like, well, the other thing was like, I wanted to make sure that I started in Gridania with them because they started out as Archer and Lancer, and we didn't want them like running around by themselves.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, I started out Conjurer, but I pretty much abandoned White Mage at this point. Like, I don't really care. And I got Black Mage up high enough, or I leveled high enough to get Black Mage just so I could do it in PvP. And then I didn't really care about that leveling that either, because Black Mage PvE is no bueno.
An experience?
Yeah, I would rather do sick flips and stuff. But,
awesome. Brandon,
Yes.
what have you been up to in Final Fantasy XIV? And along with all of that, I am curious to know your experiences with the Rising.
I think I pretty much covered it. I haven't really been doing much because Baldur's Gate 3 exists. Mostly I've just been kind of grinding for causality to collect more relic weapons on, my 2 alts after I finished Manderville on them, which was a thing. I mean, the Rising, I don't really remember much about it. It was...
Did you finish it though to get the Phoenix mount?
Oh yeah, I absolutely got the Phoenix mount, but the event itself was like, oh, okay. I feel like I vaguely remember the NPCs involved here.
So
I liked the little like Yoshi P literally teleporting into the world. That was funny.
he does that every year for the Rising, so I was looking forward to that.
Here's kind of
the letters was fun too.
The letters were all right.
We were trying to guess even who they were. I was like, wait, which one?
They were all Koji.
I think Koji's one was fairly obvious.
Yeah,
I failed miserably at trying to figure out who any of them were, and eventually I just got frustrated and gave up.
Well, the one that says it's a linguist is Koji, obviously.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Linguist?
Can't believe you said that instead of Meagan. So the Yoshi P appearance thing, I mean, that happens with every Rising event. That the thing is, I had been warned, oh man, have your Kleenex ready. This one's he kind of hits you in the feels, and it did a little bit, but it was nothing like last year's. Last year's, especially the thing from Yoshi P, really hit me in the feels, and I don't know why last year's did so much and this one didn't. The only thing I can think of is last year when that happened, that was it hadn't been all that long after. It was just a little bit after Endwalker, right? It'd only been, a few months separated from Endwalker, we're still just kind of starting the post MSQ and stuff like that. And it felt like, this whole big journey that while many others have been going on it for years, for me, it was like a very solid year in a chunk. So it was kind of the whole talk from Yoshi P kind of hitting the feels with the last one, but this one, not so much. I know a couple people though who said they definitely needed Kleenex. So I will not say names in case they want to protect themselves.
I mean, I think you're onto something. I think the last Rising felt like hey, thanks for sticking by us all this time. We've now seen the conclusion of this, multi-expansion long storyline that's, resulted in the conclusion of, you've saved the world from the big threat that's been set up all this time. And this one, while it's thank you for sticking by us for 10 years.
Right.
It definitely didn't feel like it hit quite the same. Or maybe it's just because the last one was so epic and, just we're getting, personalized thank you from, Yoshi P himself. And this one, we're like, okay, I kind of got this last year. It's like, all right, yeah, you're welcome for sticking for however many years of the 10 you've been going on that I've been here, because I certainly haven't been here the whole 10 years.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it's just because the 10 years was the focus, and I haven't been around for all that time, so it didn't feel, right to claim part of that. I don't know.
It's weird to think that it's been 2.5 years for me now. Since, I played Final Fantasy 14 years and years ago, back in Heavensward, but I didn't make it through the Realm Reborn MSQ. But my real dig in, dive into Final Fantasy 14 took place 2.5 years ago. It does not seem like it's been that long.
Yeah.
No,
That is
been for fucking ever to me. Literally going back through now, there's so much that I forgot about while we're redoing redoing Realm Reborn, and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know.
The cats are attacking.
Oh no!
Very lazily smacking each other, but Butterscotch is just very dramatic. Bonbon is literally just she's such a little sister. She just comes up and lightly touches her, and Butterscotch is like, ah!
You're in my personal bubble,
Mom.
Yeah,
stop touching me.
Yeah, exactly. Bonbon just really wants to play, and Butterscotch is like, I've never played in my entire life. I had fun once, and it was awful. And, oh god, what was it? Oh yeah, there's so much random stuff from Realm Reborn that I forgot about, or especially now that we have the hindsight and knowing what things are setting up and all this stuff, it's really fun to just go back and see it again. Also because the last time I played through Realm Reborn MSQ and actually paid attention to everything and read everything, dear God, that was when Heavensward was the current content. So long ago. And so I have vague memories of things of there are certain things that I've looked up again in the past to relive through or recall, or because when you're role playing or when you're making character backstories, you want to remember certain stuff, so you'll just wiki it or whatever.
Yep.
Actually going through it again, I'm like, oh yeah.
Your friends aren't listening to this show, right? Because,
no.
Tons of spoilers. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure because the next question I have to ask you is relevant and important, because I realize you're in Realm Reborn post MSQ stuff, heading into Heavensward. How on a scale of 1 to 10, knowing them and how they've reacted to previous scenes, how emotionally prepared do you think they are for Harshafat?
For Harshafat, they will probably. Well, I don't know how attached they're going to get to him, because they either love characters or they hate him, and I think they're going to like him because they liked Graha. They like charming, pretty boys. So I think they will like him, and I will probably be extremely emotionally destroyed. But yeah.
Why am I taking glee at that?
I don't know. I'm just sitting over here vibrating in excitement for the big end of ARR betrayal.
Oh yeah,
that happened. I'm like, oh, it's coming soon. It's coming soon.
Ralbon gets angry and the screen goes red.
Because I remember that being a huge moment for me.
Yeah.
Playing and being like, oh, shit can get real, because up until this point it's been a very black and white storyline. There are evil men in black robes and good people who fight them, and big evil monsters that we take down, and it all felt very very basic, very very normal fantasy fare. And then we're starting to get into this political intrigue, and there always was kind of a current of geopolitics and Old being a really fucked up place. But it doesn't really take center stage that much. And then as things slowly start getting more and more fucked up, I'm like, this is interesting. And then we get as far as Final Fantasy goes, this is a Red Wedding situation,
Yeah.
They literally, you think they killed all your friends.
I mean, and at that point, for me, it was pretty wild, because I hadn't really been. I was trying to stay as spoiler free for the experiences as I could, so I wasn't looking ahead to what was happening in the later expansions. So when after that moment happens and you're on the run and you're underground trying to get away from like the Crystal Braves and everything as they're chasing you down, and it's like you lose pretty much all the scions and all you have left at the end is Thancred, not Thancred, Alphino.
Alphino and Tataru, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. That's it. That's the scions right there.
Yeah, when we show up in Carthus, so there's poor little Tataru there, and like she's so distraught and sad because I glommed on Tataru immediately. Like I thought she was adorable, and she was like already my favorite. And I was actually worried about her when I'm like, oh god, if the scions are, branded a criminal organization, and like, is she okay? And then she's like waiting for you in Carthus. And it's like, everybody's dead. I'm like, oh no, Tataru, I'm so sorry. Well, yeah, I'm literally like trying not to give any hints. They know that like we're going to be going to Ishgard because we've already been to Carthus, and we're always joking about like the French Catholics and their holy war because we already did the whole like witch drop, fucking Inquisition quest bit.
Oh God!
So they've gotten their first little taste of Ishgardian situations. so they know that like the next expansion is like they let us into Ishgard and we get to meet everybody over there, but they don't know
how they
like
get there.
they definitely don't know that we're like a fugitive from the fucking law.
Right.
I personally can't wait to hear about their reactions to Taru and Alphino getting accused of heresy, and them saying like, "All right, we're gonna put Taru to trial by combat." I'm like, "Bitch, you thought."
I still remember that. It's like, it's just so cute because like Tataru is like off doing her own thing, and then you just like you run into her every now and then, and like she has a new like outfit, or she's she's succeeding so hard, and then you like find her and she's like, hey guys, little problem, or like you just like get called into like the principal's office and there's Tataru sitting there like, guys, little problem. I've been accused of a teensy-tiny bit of heresy.
Then you go to the courtroom, they're like, I cannot fight. I reserve the right to name a champion. Like, who will stand for her? And you walk in, they're like, oh, fuck.
Like, shit, there were other ones. We forgot.
Wait, I remember you. I'm going to enjoy beating the hell out of you.
Well, if you've been doing the Dark Knight quest at that point.
As soon as I was able to, when I played through this the first time, I immediately went to the Machinist Guild, unlocked that, and then paused the MSQ for 20 levels while I grounded up to 50.
Oh.
So I walk in there, Alpha knows like, all right, let's fight. Pulls out book, me.
Pulls out a gun.
You boys brought a sword to a gunfight. You about to learn something.
Oh, God. We're already cracking up because Melweb pulling out her fucking muskets. It's like, she pulled out a gun!
Turns out she has two things that are double-barreled.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
But, yeah, I really am looking forward to Heavensward, and I'm really looking forward to the dramatic conclusion to Realm Reborn. And, like, we're getting to the point where Alphino is just starting to put together the Crystal Braves. Like, he hasn't started it yet, but he's like, oh, Infinity, I'm going to go work on that new organization I was talking to you about. I'm like,
Oh, you sweet summer child.
Nothing could go wrong here.
And actually, it's like, when I first started doing Realm Reborn, Alphino's old voice annoyed me, but the more I've done it, the more I feel like it suits him, because it's so smarmy and, like, obnoxious.
It's Sam Riegel. Are we surprised?
Yep. I think that like it does suit him, but I don't know if it would have suited his. I actually kind of like that he like once he gets humbled, his voice becomes a lot cuter and nicer and like
and also
shyer.
British.
Yes,
and British. Yes,
and British.
That's another thing I want to hear your friends' reactions to: the sudden voice acting change.
Yeah. Well, we've been telling them, we're like, a lot of these voices are going to change. Like,
Because if you play through it now, it's a very glaring and sudden shift where you're like, Alpha No does not sound like I remember him 5 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's also really funny because we just did the whole like Doman refugees and like Yugiri being like, oh, I can teach you of my mystic Eastern ways of being a ninja. And Ward's like standing there as a ninja, like, oh, really?
Are you sure about that? I still hate that they basically like, hey, we're going to go talk to the Rose Guild. You can teach them how to be a ninja. And then you go do the ninja quest line. It's like complete,
I know. I'm like,
different story there. It's like,
yeah,
wait,
Yugiri doesn't.
Where's my knifeu?
Yugiri doesn't teach them shit. And like, she's not even there. And like, the people who teach you how to be a ninja are like some other random Doman refugees that have nothing to do with Yugiri. And like, what the fuck? Why would you do this whole like intro into ninjas and rogues that has nothing to do with the actual job quests? Like, what?
It honestly sounds like there was, two different teams writing on it that did not talk to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, wait, you did what with Yugiri? No, we have plans for her. She's off limits. Oh, hell, what do we do? But a different Doman refugee.
Mm-hmm.
Without horns this time.
Yeah. I also think, I'm like, where was Aura's? Like, was the textures not finished?
That is also a possibility.
Because you could see her tail, but like, she's still. I thought, for some reason in my brain, I thought she even had her tail wrapped up so that she could be mistaken for like a Mikote or something. But like, I don't know. I do not like the full mask Yugiri. It's very weird, and it's especially funny because one of our friends is playing as an Aura. So Yugiri being like, oh, I can't show my face because it's so weird and you guys will find me monstrous. And like, he's just sitting there like this giant male Aura, like, oh, really?
Yes, you're absolutely hideous, I'm sure. Because male Aura aren't terrifying with the worst examples of resting bitch face in the entire game.
Yeah, he's a giant Zayla samurai.
Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my god, he's got the really big horns that like point forward, which is very funny because his wife went nuts in the cash shop.
How many Fantasia did she buy?
No Fantasia because she loves her buddy boy so much. But she bought them so many outfits and emotes and even mounts. But she bought him like the demon outfit so he can have 2 other horns. And I swear to God, he looks like human Nidhogg. Because he's got completely black skin, black scales. He's got the 4 horns and he's got like bright red glowing eyes. And so it's like, oh, hello, human Nidhogg. How are you?
So what you're telling me is this samurai is indeed horny on main.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Super duper. Some would say twice as horny as the average Aura. But like, he doesn't even know who the fucking Nidhogg is. Oh, the other thing, the wife of the Paris has always been like really obsessed with dragons. I've known her since high school. And like, she's you know how they're like horse girls? She's a dragon girl.
Oh, I can't wait till they get to the story. Oh.
Like, you're gonna love it.
We're gonna really, really quickly start hating all of Ishgard.
Well, she was immediately, as soon as we ran into the Ishgardians and I'm fighting the dragons, she's like, can we join the dragons? She's like, oh, this guy turned into a dragon? I want to join them. I want to turn into a dragon. I'm like, girl.
When Ysel enters the fray, oh boy.
I know.
Yep.
I know that she knows of the meme of like the church bad, dragons good. Church bad because church won't let you fuck dragons. Yeah, I know she knows of that meme, and I know that she knows that I've joked that that's what Heavensward is, but that was before she started playing, so I don't know if she still remembers that meme.
Oh no! You've got to get her to level a crafter or gatherer just so she can do L2's custom delivery story.
Yeah, they are omnicrafting, man.
Okay, perfect.
If me and Ward can't log on, they just go run around doing crafting and gathering like all the time. Like they're really
just point them at L2 and say, "Look, come back every week, help this little dragon out. I'm not going to say anything, It's worth it.
I'm sure she's gonna want to do everything to do with dragons.
Perfect.
But yeah, I'm so hyped for her to see Heavensward. And like, I know she's gonna be very upset in the beginning that we're like fighting and killing the dragons, but I'm like, girl, just stick with it. Trust me.
It will get better.
And plus, we're gonna have you sail there the entire time, being like, dragons are great. Fuck you guys. And I'm like, I remember.
One is my lover.
Yeah, well, I remember like playing through Heavensward the entire time, being like, low key, it sails right. Like every time she says something, I'm like, based. But yeah, I'm very looking forward to that. And also, I love their take on dragons. The fact that they are like space alien dragons that like flew across the endless expanse. Like, that's so fucking cool. And also just that they made them legitimately look alien and monstrous, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't cute them up. Some of them have
not your classic D&D style dragons.
No, yeah. And like, but that they are such interesting characters and they have such interesting lore that like the fact that they look monstrous doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, I love Ritra. I've like come to think that Ritra is really cute, even though like I know objectively he's a terrifying beast.
Yeah.
But he's just such a good boy. But it's also like you understand why he would hide. Like, look at that fucking face, man. Like, most people would be absolutely terrified to see him. But yeah, like
Stormer did not make a lot of cute kids.
No, he did not. Oh, I'm really looking forward to doing the Guardian of the Lake dungeon and having a little baby sassy dragon following us around.
Baby sassy dragon who removes your blessing of light.
So I have an interesting question, kind of shifting gears here, that I want to toss to the two of you with the time that with most of the time that we got left, and it's something that I've seen pop up a little bit on YouTube and some discussion that people have had, particularly a fairly well-known content creator known as Zepla, who feels that the content that we have received in Endwalker, and specifically Endwalker, has not been as engaging as content that was released post MSQ for other expansions. Attributing a big part of it to, like, you know, the lack of a real relic grind, no exploration zone, stuff like that, and the reward system for things like variant dungeons and such, and deep dungeon not necessarily being all that in depth. I was wondering, like, since you guys have played longer than I have, it's like I kind of agree with some of what she's saying, but at the same time, I haven't played all of the other content enough to really kind of compare the two.
The thing is, I kind of prefer it this way. Boja was a lot.
And Eureka before it was worse.
Yeah, and I kind of like the more mellow, like, you can get this done really quickly and then you can just play when you want, what you want. You don't have that FOMO of like, oh, I gotta try to grind this up and get to the cap so that I'll be ready for the next patch and all of that. Like, I prefer this personally. I can see if you're coming off of the WoW treadmill that this might feel like not enough content, but like, girl, go play Baldur's Gate 3 or something, all right?
Exactly.
Like, I'm glad to have time for other games. And also, like, we're coming off of the end of the 10-year Hydaelyn Zodiark story. Mm-hmm. So I can see that it can feel that way, like, lore-wise also, because the last one we were finishing up the whole Shadowbringers storyline. We were finishing up all, you know, the Crystal Tower stuff, and like freaking Elidibus showing up and all that stuff felt very epic. And like this one, we're just kind of we're helping out on the 13th, and like, yeah, there's some personal stakes in it for Ritra, who is definitely our buddy, but it doesn't feel as epic or immediate. But like, I don't think it should. Like, we're kind of in like the wind down period, you know. Like, this is, I think it makes sense, and I prefer it this way. But I do feel like, I don't know, like, if you have nostalgia for freaking Boja. It's still there, buddy. Like,
oh well, and I mean that's one of the things that like her point was that it's like if you that things like Boja and Eureka and stuff like that, that content is still there. It's just it was just more the impression that it didn't seem like that less effort was put into post main MSQ content for this expansion. I think one of the points you brought up though, the fact that hey, there's Baldur's Gate 3. Not only is there Baldur's Gate 3, there is there's Final Fantasy 16, there's Diablo 4, Street Fighter 6 if that's your jam. It kind of is mine.
There's
Starfield 3, there's Starfield. Yes, this year
Horse Adventure.
This year as I've mentioned before, is a cataclysmic wave of content. I kind of wonder if, I mean, you know how long people have kind of a rough feeling for how long games take to be made development-wise. You kind of have to wonder if Yoshi P and the dev team saw, hey, man, there's all these games being developed and we happen to have the end of our thing happening up. Maybe we don't need to go so hard in the post MSQ. I think as long as this kind of content isn't necessarily repeated, say in Dawntrail, I think we're fine. You know?
Yeah, I think they're also, I know there's like a big shakeup of like staff, like who's in charge of different stuff, and like the new team is kind of taking over, and like I can understand that like they're still kind of recovering from COVID and everything.
Sure.
And like to me, I am giving them the benefit of the doubt and saying that like they're giving us less content so that they can, you know, have this fresh start after no Zodiac, no Hydaelyn stuff, and they're like really putting together, you know, another 10-year plan. And like that's taking a lot of extra work behind the scenes, and they're just going to make it. They're putting all that effort into Dawntrail and all of everything going for that, and like, and that's probably also yes. We have so many fucking games to play. Oh my god,
a lot of games to play. I mean, how is fuck it, we can take a few minutes for this. How is Baldur's Gate 3 for y'all?
Oh my god. Well, I have 2 saves going on right now. I have Leaf, my Githyanki.
Your nude save and your not nude save, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have my booba and my non-booba. In my non-booba, I just went into the Underdark.
Okay.
Fought a giant beholder demon guy.
Nice. Did you get the super neat amulet thingy?
Maybe I did. I don't know. I like literally just beat him. And then on the other one, I have realized that if you make Karlach not your tank and you turn her into like the Fury kind of barbarian, she's a fucking death machine and absolutely unstoppable. And she is carrying us to victory. And I'm just like waddling around as a bear, goading people into hitting me. It's fucking great.
Karlach is a one demon wrecking crew, especially, man, if you put haste on her and enlarge her, dear.
Oh my god. Oh, do I
I'm just saying.
Enlargement and bring him with me? Because he's like my only magic caster now. Right now, mostly I have what I call ladies' night. Where it's my female druid and then Lae'zel, Karlach, and Shadowheart, and some of them always like, it's ladies' night and the feeling's right. We're just going around wrecking shit. Yep. And it's great because me and Lae'zel both have the fucking psionic jump. So we're just
who's doing your lock picking sleight of hand stuff?
Oh, that's true. So occasionally I have to bring a star in.
You see, I found a way around that though.
Oh yeah?
What'd you do? Recruit an NPC?
No. Yes. So in my run, Shadowheart goes 3 levels into trickery cleric, and then the rest in the thief.
Nice.
And it actually works really well because with the trickery domain stuff with like pass without a trace and all that stuff actually very much complements the thief stuff. So I had to like respec and redid the stats and stuff. But yeah, she's basically a thief cleric and she handles all the sneaky stuff.
And tell us, Ro, why did you need to do this for Shadowheart?
Because
Astarion?
Yes, I killed Astarion.
Oh my god!
Astarion did not make it. Astarion didn't even make it to the Goblin Assault on the Druid Grove.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
you let the Druid Grove?
Like if this was an anime, Astarion was out in episode 2.
Oh my god! Did you kill him like the first time you met him? How the fuck did you kill him so fast?
No, I killed him. I killed him when he basically tried to freaking feed on me. It's like, fuck you, you're gone.
He's so good. He's so cute. Sorry. Look, my main save. I'm trying to put myself in a goth sandwich with Astarion and Shadowheart.
Good luck.
Astarion is very slutty, so he's already on board. Shadowheart, she hints that she likes me, but I have not been able to be like, hey, baby, want to kill all humans?
You want to know the way to Shadowheart's heart?
What?
Without major spoilers, just a general guideline to get to get Shadowheart to like you. Persuasion. Anytime you do persuasion and it succeeds, you increase Shadowheart's fondness for you.
Oh, that's good, because I do that a lot on my main save, because I'm a sorcerer, so I got a shit ton of charisma.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm always talking my way out of things. Or into things, you know.
Yeah, she loves a smooth talker, apparently.
Well
really
then.
does.
Well then. But yeah, I'm enjoying sorcerer because you can boost your spells with your sorcerer blood. So
yeah.
My Crown of Madness strategy still going strong. Oh, and I got giant fireball recently.
Oh Lord!
Yep.
Which is how I defeated the giant beholder thing. Was I literally like cleared everybody else away from it?
Boom.
Literally like fire in the hole.
So on my main playthrough, I am also doing sorcerer. I started out as a storm sorcerer because I love that idea conceptually, even if in baseline 5th edition D&D it doesn't work very well. I wanted to see how well it worked in Baldur's Gate, and it does work pretty great. But I ended up respecing to Draconic Bloodline and going just straight up, let's boost everything I can involving fire.
Yeah.
I took a feat that got me a Warlock spell called Hex, which basically is like anytime you hit something, it does an extra D6 of damage. And then I just basically started casting Scorching Ray on a bunch of things, and the damage just
fucking intense. Oh,
it is great, and the damage just piles on and piles on and piles on.
You took Warlock Initiate for Hex? That's interesting. I didn't think about that.
Oh, wait, I have a question.
If you take Magic Initiate Warlock, I took it at level 4 just to get access to Hex.
Nice. Have you guys beat the Hag?
Yes.
Okay, is there a way to save Myra?
Yes.
There are two ways you can save her. One, there's like a big yellow orb in that room. If you go touch it, it'll set her free. The other thing is if you put the fire out around her cage, she'll get mad and pull her out herself and then do some other trickery bullshit.
How do you put the fire out?
Create or destroy water.
Yeah, create water.
Oh shit! I even had like a staff on that creates water. Well, sorry, Mira.
Yeah, I have that same staff. It's called Rain Dancer, and it gives you a free cast of that. I kept that staff on for that express purpose to save her in that fight. Now, fair warning, the hag, if you do that, the hag will get pissed, pull her out, and then basically make herself look like it. So she's like, ooh, which one of us are you going to hit now, dearie?
Yeah.
And I'm like, how about the one that doesn't have the wet debuff?
True.
Because the other thing about Create Water is if you put that on someone, it gives them the debuff of wet, and they take double damage from cold and lightning.
Yep.
Oh, do they take less damage from fire?
I have no idea. I don't think so. But all I know is that it doubles cold and lightning damage, which, back then I was still a storm sorcerer, so it was delicious.
So So the whole trick where she brings her out and has copies of herself and all that. I was able to cheat out of that. You know what I did?
What'd you do?
Silence.
Even better.
Because she doesn't really move a lot in that fight. So there was that, but I was able to free her and get something from the hag that gave me a permanent +1 to a stat.
Oh, you got the hair? I never did figure out how to get that.
Mm-hmm.
You basically have to get her low on life and get her to say, hey, I'll give you this if you let me keep Myra, and then you persuade the hag into saying, no, actually, you're going to give me your hair and I get to rescue her. And if you succeed on the persuasion check, which is pretty high, then you get both.
That explains it, because I basically beam spammed her to death on both of the playthroughs where I've killed her. Because my other playthrough that is still in Act 1, I basically made my +5 to hit Warlock in there. Mm-hmm. And yeah. I mean, Ro, you know what a damage machine Tom can be, so.
Eldritch frickin' Blast.
Yes.
Oh, man.
Eldritch Blast plus Agonizing Blast plus Hex equals Dead Hag. Which is the only morally correct thing to do. I
also started a Dark Urge playthrough as a Tiefling Paladin.
Oh, interesting. I have one saved that has just gotten off the Nautiloid that's a half-orc druid.
Is that Tiefling Paladin going to be an Oathbreaker?
I don't know. Probably. I just barely started. I made her as scary looking as I could. Because, she used to be an evil person, or she knows, she was evil, and she has all these dark urges. So I'm like, okay, clearly you were, somebody's hell minion, so you're gonna look like a hell minion.
There are so many things I could say because I know the Dark Urge storyline, because of course I do. I love spoilers. And I'm just gonna be like, yeah, this is gonna be fun for you.
Well, I also just love, I love Tiefling Paladins in general, because it's so, what?
I mean, the fact that you spend a lot of Act 1 dealing with a lot of tieflings in general is just pretty great, because I also love tieflings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you both are pronouncing it wrong. It's tiefling.
Tiefling. You fucking lace up. What's so funny is when you're also Githyanki, and your arguments with Lae'zel are so funny. It's like, why are you so dumb? And you're like, why do you keep lying and saying stupid shit? And she's like, my crush is better than your crush, and I'm more important than you. And I'm like, no, I'm more important than you.
Oh, God. I have to wonder what her personal quest is like as a Githyanki now.
Well, it's I chose folk hero as my background.
Okay.
And, in my head, I'm like, she's a Githyanki that, fell out of the sky and got raised by druids. So her constantly saying Githyanki shit doesn't always make sense, but every now and then it does. But yeah, it's very funny. And
I don't know where you are in the overall main story, but her personal quest goes places, and experiencing it as a Githyanki player yourself seems like it could be very, very interesting. And I hate being vague about it, but I can't say anymore.
Well, I do know from my other playthrough that there is no actual Githyanki cure for being tadpoled.
No, there's not.
They're just they're like, yeah, the cure is we kill you. I have well, it's funny, I had Lae'zel and Shadowheart, make up, and, Lae'zel, agreed to, stop trying to kill Shadowheart and take the relic. And then she's just totally on board with lying to the other people. I really thought that once we came up to the other guys, she'd be like, she hasn't, her, but no. Apparently she is loyal enough to us to not immediately spill beans. But I think the fact that they were like, yeah, we're just gonna kill your cure is death, that she was like, oh shit. Yeah, I like Lae'zel. She's cute, but I love Karlach. I love the fact that Karlach will just start dancing while you're standing around.
Karlach is amazing.
Because I wanted to get some footage of my character singing to her, because I made a stupid giant woman parody.
I played that for my wife.
Of course, Kyle starts dancing while I'm standing there playing my little lute badly because I'm a sorcerer and not a bard. But yeah, the fact that and I wanted to get some footage of her like talking, so of course I'm like, Kyle, you gotta stay behind, and she's like, oh, are you sure? And then you say, I'm like, nah, stay behind. She's like, yes, or like, no, you're coming with me. Yes, she's so cute.
She has that same reaction if you express any level of interest in her. She's like, yes, finally.
I have a feeling that Leaf is going to end up with Karlach because they're just constantly hanging out together, and she likes everything that I do. And also, my Twitch chat tends to be like the giant woman.
Oh man.
Well, it sounds like Baldur's Gate 3 is definitely it has its talents in all of us.
I have to ask you guys one more thing.
What?
Did you manage to save the gnome strapped to the windmill?
Absolutely. And yes, I know it can be yeeted.
I didn't. So, okay, it's worse than it seems, because I had forgotten that the gnome was there, because I'm like grinding levels to try and beat the false paladins that are chasing Karlach. And like, I'm level 3, that guy's level 4. I get murdered by him like 3 times. So I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go grind experience. So the town that's infiltrated by goblins is like right there. So I go there, I beat up a bunch of goblins. I'm like, okay, we're all hurt. So I long rest. And then I completely forget that the gnome is there. I beat up the ogres that are there. I beat up the rest of the goblins. I even go down into the swamp and beat up all the red caps. And like, I've long rested like 3 times by now. And then like, I'm coming back through the town because we're going to go beat up the paladins now. I don't think we got a level, but I realized that Karlach was such a murder machine. Like, I had changed her spec and she was just destroying people. So I was like, fuck, we'll just give it another try, I guess. And so we're walking up and I hear like yeah, they're like, let me down. I'm like, oh no, we left him.
For days. You left him on the windmill for 3 days, Meagan.
So then I ran around the back and I get distracted because there's like a cut scene where Shadowheart like sees a statue of Saloon and is like, oh, it's time for my tragic, you've become a +4 friend, so it's time for me to hint him at my tragic backstory. So I'm like totally distracted by that, not looking at what I'm clicking. And I'd already done this on my main, so I'm like, I know that there's a gear at the back. You click it, it turns off the windmill, and you get the note free. So I just click it blindly, and I didn't know that there's 2 gears back there.
Yes.
One of them stops the windmill. The other one makes the windmill go faster. And so I like not paying attention. I click it. The cutscene starts, and I'm expecting it to stop and like me to get the gnome down, but no, it just goes faster, and then he just gets yeeted into the sky.
And he was never seen from again.
I'm still looking for his body. I'm like, I'm sure I'm gonna find his little corpse somewhere. Oh, Jesus Christ!
You'll be walking down somewhere in Act 2, and you'll be. What's this gnome doing here, face down?
Oh no!
It'll just be his little legs sticking out of the ground.
Hildebrand style.
Yeah. Oh God.
And on that full circle note, I think we're going to bring this episode to an end. Folks, be warned, there's going to be a lot more Baldur's Gate 3 talk, and probably eventually some Starfield talk, because I've been playing a lot of that lately. But
I'm full up on RPG. I do not need.
No, I've got a lot of games I'm wrestling with right now, and quite frankly, Final Fantasy XIV being just kind of relatively quiet right now is okay for a couple more weeks, because I'll tell you what, the first week or 2 of October will be here before you know it. We've got like 1 more episode before 6.5 hits, so strap in. It'll be here soon. Until our next episode, though, Meagan, where can people find you on the internets?
You can find me at CatMom Meagan. That's Meagin on TikTok, on Twitter. Is it like Jitter? Zitter?
I think it's just X, but you know what? Let's go with that one.
Sure.
Shitter.
Shitter.
I started an Instagram, but I don't really do anything with it.
Like most people.
Yeah, and I changed my Tumblr to Catmo Meagan also. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific. Right now, every day we Baldurin. So, if you want to see the adventures of a Githyanki druid named Leaf, who's mostly a bear. I discovered bears can sit in chairs. Very important knowledge. Yeah, you gotta stop by, hang out for some nonsense.
Awesome. Brandon, how about you?
I am pretty much on everything as THEBMATT, the BMAT. Don't follow me on Instagram because I'm probably going to deny you. I only let close friends on there because I post a lot of pictures of my family doing stuff. So, that's just the way it is. You can also catch me on the Plus 5 to Hit podcast, where we're recording a new episode tomorrow night, and I am hyper stoked because I like playing D&D. You can also go read my blog, in which I've been talking a lot about D&D homebrew stuff lately because that's the kind of thing I'm into these days. That's at yourquestlogisfull.wordpress.com.
As for myself, you can find me at Podcaster Row on Twitter, Podcaster RHO. I'm on Blue Sky, but I haven't necessarily decided if that account's going to be like a super public account or not yet. So if I do, you'll know where it is. You can also find the show on Twitter at A Podcast Reborn. We are a part of Bonus Roll Productions. You can check out bonusroll.gg to find out more about our show as well as others. And check out the merch shop if you want some merch from A Podcast Reborn. The theme music for the show is provided by Husky by the Geek. A link to his YouTube channel will be included in the show notes. Of course, this music and any other derivatives of Final Fantasy XIV music you hear on the podcast belongs to Square Enix, and no copyright infringement is intended. That's going to do it for episode 42. I don't know if we found the answer to life, the universe, and everything. I hear the questions, 6 times 9, but go figure. For Meagan, for Brandon, and of course for Butterscotch and Bonbon, this is Brian Black. Until next time, may your loot rolls be high, your glamour fantastic, and your duties always complete. Brandon!
What do you call a loperate that's been raised in a hotel?
Oh, wait.
Grown hair.
It was right on the tip of my tongue.
I know. I'm sorry. I didn't realize.
I'm sorry, too. See you, everybody.
Bye.